think we have our next guest coming in on the phone here. So let me bring him on. This is Chris Theodore. All right, Chris, we're going to liven up your mic. Hi, Chris. How are you? You're on the air with Al Fink on bnclive.com.
How are you, Al?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm not too bad. You're doing some good work there, I hear.
Thank you. We're trying. We're learning as we go. We love local artists. We're trying to get the word out for everybody, and and do a good job. And what I could tell you is I just love local music, and every day I meet new folks and I hear great music, and very fortunate. So I'm benefiting myself.
Yeah, no, it's pretty amazing when you get stuck into it. You start finding all this talent that is all over the place. It's pretty healthy at the moment.
Thank you. Yes, there is. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, Chris, tell us about yourself now. I was looking at your site a little bit today. I was looking at the Facebook page, and I think this tiny URL.com/EG lessons. That's kind of where it brings you. It brings you to Facebook. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. No. That'll bring us to the website. But I've got the Facebook page under the same name, of course, facebook.com/EG lessons, and that's got to do with the teaching service that I offer. For anybody at any level, any age that wants to learn guitar, bass, keyboards, and songwriting as well.
And then is that primarily what you do now? You give lessons. You also play. You also play out too, right? And then you do music.
Yes. I also do some session work as well as do some recording and some production work. I do some songwriting myself and play in a band called Ultralust. I've been playing from a very young age. So my artist name is actually Mr. Fi, and you can find that on Facebook as well if anybody wanted to listen to any of the material there. So, it's a full-time thing for me, this music thing. It's been a passion of mine since the day I can't even remember when, since I was a young, little ankle biter. So, it's been very rewarding at the moment, being a player, an artist, a songwriter, as well as offering, there's no point in keeping all the knowledge to yourself, and I enjoy doing the teaching side of it, and like to see people's faces when they smile, and you've got to pass this knowledge on to the next couple of generations that are coming through, as well as help the people that are already involved, but they just want a little bit of advice and hands up just to improve their own style and art.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at your website here. I'm on your about page. So let me go through this here. Okay. So you've been playing for over 20 years, since the age of 10. Okay? Now, I have to tell you, I am a big proponent of children learning music at a very young age. Okay, because even if they're not going to become musicians, for their career or their craft, music more or less, strengthens their thinking ability, their creativity, their structure. I mean, would you concur with that?
Al, it's all that. It's a pretty sizable. What's the word for it? It helps you become focused, but it also develops skills, motor skills, coordination skills. It helps in solving problems, whether it's for school or anything you do with your life. It's the left and right side of your brain that have to connect. So when a young student, as young, because I take students on from 5 years old, 5 years onwards, You find that they're much more sociable with other kids as well, and you find they're a little bit more motivated even with schoolwork, dare I say, because it just develops them in all aspects of their life. Just learning to play an instrument gets them to think in so many different ways, and like you said, it's not that they have to become a professional. That's not the whole thing. The thing is to learn some skills that they can carry on in other parts of their lives, and just develop as a human being, and also be exposed to the art world as well. But it's also a known fact that picking up an instrument and learning an instrument is actually beneficial in all sorts of parts of your life.
Yes, absolutely. I noticed what I noticed that one of the biggest areas that children become strong in is the social skills. On Friday evenings we call into an open mic in Red Bank, New Jersey. It's in a coffee shop. It's not in a bar setting. There's no alcohol there. And they have children playing there, like 8, 9, 10 years old. They're actually playing, and they're entertaining audiences. And then these are not the run-of-the-mill average 8, 9, and 10-year-old children. They're actually performing, and their social skills are way above their age level because of this musical talent and this training.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch. Some people may think, how good can you be at a musical instrument at the age of 8 or 9? Well, I tell you what, kids are awesome. Their faces light up when they learn something new. And once you show them something, and they're resilient. They're more resilient than adults. They will sit there and practice to get something right, just because it's new and they're discovering. It's an adventure to them. So what you find is they improve really quickly. So what you're saying about seeing 8 or 9-year-olds being able to play an instrument, or definitely even in a band situation, is amazing, don't you think?
Oh, I agree. And what you said earlier, where it helps children as they grow older in problem-solving skills. I believe because they once like you said, they learn very quickly when they're young, and they progress very quickly. So they get to see the fruits of their labor. So now what's happening in their young minds is, as they're growing and now they're solving more adult problems, they actually know in the back of their mind, or even in the front of their mind, or on both sides of their left and right side of their mind, that there is an end to this problem, and they can actually, because they've seen themselves, grow musically, they know that the end is, that the problem. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and they know how to get there and work through it. So I think that I think music should be mandatory and educated. That's okay. I think music should be because it's exactly what you're saying. And by learning something, especially with a musical instrument, one-to-one with a teacher, you're not only teaching them and showing them to learn how to play an instrument, but you're also teaching them and guiding them on how to approach a problem in order to solve it. So that's not specific to an instrument, and like you're saying, it's got to do with the rest of the facets of their life. So when they get a little issue or a problem that's got nothing to do with music, it's already embedded that if they take certain steps in order to solve the problem, they will get to an end result, rather than they will work through a problem rather than say, "Oh, I don't know what to do," and I give up. They build strength. That's correct. Yeah, and it's great that they have that you do what you do here. And do you do this in a private setting, or are you part of a school system, or how do you do this, Chris?
No, I do this on a private setting. I always believe one-to-one is the best way, only because every person, and especially every child, but every person, adult, child, it doesn't matter. Everybody's got their own way of thinking, and so in a class setting with music, it's a little bit more difficult, because one person may understand something that you're trying to show them. They might understand it in a certain way, but the next person won't understand it if you put it to them in that way. So you've got to come from a different angle that suits that person's personality. So that's why I like to do it one-on-one. And, plus they get the attention they need. You can see where the little problems are, so you can immediately fix any problems that may be created along the way. So you see a problem and you try to fix it and nip it in the bud as soon as you can. Having said that, I do workshops. So when students get to a certain level, and and there's a few of them that are around the same level, I put them together and we work on an idea or a song, and they get the opportunity to play with their peers being on the same level, and that builds their social interaction skills by being able to talk about, you can play this bit, I'll play this bit, or why don't we try this, why don't we try that. So I encourage forward thinking, and and it doesn't have to be that strict where I say, you need to play this, you need to play that. What I'll do is say, well, this is the idea, understand the idea first. Now you tell me what you think, and you tell me what you would like to hear in there, and tell me if I show you something, if you don't like it, it's okay. We'll twist it in a way that you will enjoy it as well. And that can be for kids as well as adults. Like when I deal with songwriters, they come in with ideas, but they're not sure how to formulate the ideas. So I say to them, okay, what do you want out of this song? Let's try 2 or 3 different approaches, and you tell me what you like, and we'll go along that road. And that way that person feels as if they're developing to the next level, but in a way that agrees with them, and they don't feel pressured, and it actually feels to them as if they are developing, which in fact they are developing, but they're doing it in a very organic manner,
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you, you're instilling other skills in their musical training, such as leadership as well. So you're actually building leadership skills in young folks by teaching them how to ask the right questions and to give the baton to the person.
And not to be afraid to ask questions. And and I get people that say to me, well, this is going to be a silly question that I'm about to ask you, and I say to them, look, there's no such thing as a silly question. If you don't know the answer to something, or you're looking for more information, any question you ask is not a silly question, because it's pertinent to where you're at. So, ask away. It's the only way you're going to learn is by asking.
That's correct. So I'm reading the testimonials here, and basically these testimonials are basically claiming, are testifying to the fact of you being a wonderful teacher. Whether a beginner or experienced player takes you to the next level. Okay, Chris excels in adapting to your personal learning goals and style. His enthusiasm for his instrument and dedication to you as a student is unparalleled. And I can go on. This goes on and on. This is fantastic, and that is from a person in Hoboken. And then there's a person from New York.
I've been lucky enough to have students that they come for the right reasons. They really do want to learn, or they, whether it's just starting to learn an instrument, or like I was saying before, that people know how to play an instrument. They get into the songwriting, and then they come along. I let them express who they are, and I think that's really important. as somebody who is really there just to show them the way, is not to inhibit their own personality. Because at the end of the day, as an artist, you want to be able to express yourself and have the tools to express yourself. So I would like to think that, I'm part of showing them the different tools that they can use, whichever way they like, but to understand how everything works as well,
Mm-hmm. Do you also teach keyboards? Do you also teach, like, piano?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I teach piano as well because, I use it a lot in songwriting myself. So somebody who wants to learn how to play piano for whatever reason, whether they just want to do it for fun or they actually want to use it as a songwriting tool, absolutely. That way I can offer advice not only by showing them how to play the piano, but also if they're in the creative mind, if they want to use that instrument as a vehicle for their songwriting, that's all part and parcel of what I offer,
A lot of artists.
But yeah, I've got a couple of kids that are, they're 6 and 7 years old, and they're into this trying to find out what they like stage. So, they will come along and either they'll try to learn how to play guitar just to see what it's like, or piano and see what it's like. And, as long as you welcome them in with a smile and they're having a good time, they love to learn,
Absolutely. Especially when they see themselves progressing quickly with how the music is sounding when they're pressing down on the keys or strumming on a guitar.
It's pretty amazing. The rewards from my end is when I see them smile when they eventually, get something that may have been difficult, and all of a sudden it works for them, a piece of a song or some music, and it works for them, and they go, "Oh, I like that," and there's no better reward than that, But again, it's with adults as well. They come along with, like a song idea, and they say, "Oh, I don't know if this song is worth following through. It's not really doing anything for me, but I'm trying to, write some lyrics and put some music to it. I'm not sure how to do it." So we work through it, and all of a sudden, an idea that they were almost ready to throw out, they just realized, well, hang on, I just wasn't approaching it the right way. Now that I'm learning how to approach it in different ways, I can really come up, so it builds their confidence, I guess, and that comes back to what you're saying about the social skills. If, once someone starts to build some confidence because they can see, yes, they can do this, then it also applies to other parts of their lives, and like you were saying, the social interactions that people have with other people in whatever forums, they start to bring out their confidence, and that's always a good thing.
I'm thinking back, and I'm listening to you, and I'm also thinking back when I was in grammar school. We had music in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and they didn't teach music properly. They did not talk about, and I'm just kind of remembering this now. They did not talk about the benefits of music before they talked about how to do music. They started in by teaching you how to read scales, and that's very hard. To start children, they show you all these notes and how these notes go on. They're trying to teach you how to memorize that, and I particularly did not care for those classes. Okay, but now as I'm looking back and I'm kind of analyzing why they, I think music. I don't know if all public schools are like this, and I know that a lot of public schools are cutting out the music education, but I think that they need to relook at this, okay, and and adopt. And I'm sure some people have adopted. Some school systems have adopted your approach. Okay, but I think your approach here, where tool for life rather than
yes.
training tool. I think that's your first step. I think that's what you teach first. Okay.
Yes.
From what I'm getting from
yes.
you. Then you're teaching music as an art form. Okay. So.
Yes.
So is that right? Is that about right?
Yes. Exactly.
So I think if school districts would teach it that way, and they may be teaching it that way now. I haven't been in grammar school for a really long time.
Yeah.
But
I mean, some schools are really good at it, Alan, and some programs are not so good. I think when you're young and you want to introduce yourself to music, I think it's important for the tutors and the teachers and the instructors to actually explain what you can get out of learning an instrument or learning some music. If people understood why they were learning scales or why they were doing a particular thing, if they understood as to why they need to learn this, I think it'll be a different story, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if I knew what the outcome of this kind of education would have given to me when I was a youngster, I may have been more interested in it, you see? And absolutely. And then because I have to tell you, because all I do all day is interview musicians. That's all I do. And figure out how we're going to get them on the show and come up with creative ways of managing the show. And when I talk to these folks, they're incredibly intelligent, no matter what age they are. Okay? And this is because of musical training. And then, So
I think some people probably underestimate the intelligence of a lot of artists, you know.
So let me ask you this: why is the piano the main tool in writing songs? I noticed that people that play the guitar or play other instruments are always telling me, well, I'm not really good at playing the piano, but that's what I use to write with. Why is that?
Well, with the piano, everything is flat. Like you can see everything flat, so it's easier to understand. It's easier to access ideas, and it's not as much of a physical instrument as what, say, a guitar is or a violin is. Because with the guitar and violin and all those stringed instruments, you have to get over the physical barrier first before it starts to sound musical. Whereas with the piano, everything's right in front of you, and it's linear, so it looks linear. So it's a little bit of an easier situation to grasp. So when it comes to learning a piano, it's a little initially it's a little quicker. You get on the bandwagon a lot quicker. Of course, if you take it to advanced level, then of course it becomes a little bit more difficult, and you have to work at it. But with the guitar, it's the first 2 or 3 months, especially the first 2 or 3 months, that you have to get over the physical aspect, because you're using your hands in a way that you don't use in your everyday life.
Yeah, sure, exactly. So, if you were asked, what instruments should my child work with first, would you recommend the piano first and foremost to learn music, or you don't want to really, tell a child you have to play this?
To me, it's not about which is easier. What I asked the student is which instrument do you like the sound of? When you listen to a song, which instrument does your ear gravitate to?
Okay.
Right? And once they've got that, if it's a piano, then we start with the piano. And if you want to learn guitar later, we can learn the guitar later using some of the knowledge that we build on the piano. If it's guitar, then then it's already in their head that they always pick out the guitar. So that's their main instrument that they want to learn. So we start with the guitar. If they want to move on to a piano or any other instrument, once you're taught the right way with the mechanics of how music works, then you can apply it to any instrument, and this is why a lot of musicians know multiple instruments, more than one instrument, in the same way that I know how to play a few instruments. It's not that it's a big deal, Al. It's just knowing your stuff and chasing the knowledge of how music works in general, and then you can apply it to any instrument. The only thing you have to do is obviously adjust for the style of the instrument or the technique of the instrument, but the information you carry forward from one to another is the same,
Gotcha. So let me ask you this. So obviously you're a fantastic teacher, okay? How have you gotten to this point? Who has inspired you? From a youngster to progress to this level. So tell us that.
Yeah, well, it's ironic that you say that because of what I just said. It was like when I was younger and I was listening to radio. It was always the guitar for me. It's like I was fascinated by the sounds that this instrument can produce, and that was even if it's a song that's a ballad with an acoustic guitar, or a blues song, or something that's a little heavier. I was surprised at the range of sounds and the emotion and the expression of the guitar. So to me, I knew, like even from that 10-year-old, even earlier than 10 years old, that that's the instrument I wanted. Like I was gung-ho about it, even from the age of 7 or 8. It just took me 2 or 3 years to convince my parents to buy me a guitar so I can start learning. And then when I started learning at 10 or 11 years old, I mean, that's all I would do. I'd go to school, obviously, come back, and then practice for 3 or 4 hours. And I was playing in bands by the time I was 13, 14. And I knew then, once you start playing with other people, I knew then that this is what I wanted to do for a living. So my goal from then was to be a professional musician. I still finished my accounting degree, just in case, But, from then on, there was no stopping me, And once I got into the songwriting, which was probably around 16, 17 years old, I also knew that in order for me to be able to arrange songs and produce songs, I needed to understand different instruments. So I started getting involved with learning other instruments. And I was lucky, but I was chasing the knowledge and chasing the right people to teach me this stuff. So, just out of perseverance, I would find excellent teachers, as well as playing in bands at a fairly high level at an early age. I was also around musicians that were better than me at the time. So, it comes back down to that social networking thing, If you're nice about things and you respect and what other people are doing and all the rest of it, it comes back to you,
Where did you grow up?
So I got stuck into that and been playing professionally ever since,
Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
In Australia. Not that you can't tell from my accent, but...
I didn't know. I had that inclination, but I don't. My ear, to me, folks from Australia and from Great Britain sound similar. So I don't want to, you're from.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I always get the oh, you're British, and I say no, I'm not. Don't call me a pom. But it's cool. I mean, there are. I mean, it is close. I mean, the accent is very close, and some parts of Australia they sound more British than other parts, and vice versa, But so Yeah, I was playing professionally all over Australia, and I've been here now for 7 years. You know, furthering my career, and you know, a lot more opportunities. So we're still chasing it, and it's been good. And coming to Jersey City and I've been here for the 7 years that I've been in the US. I've been in Jersey City for 7 years, and I love the scene and the vibe here. You know, there's a lot of good local talent here, you know, and then I did a couple of shows for Texter Vaid, you know Texter, I think, Al, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah, he reached out to me once. He needed the guitar player for a paid event that he did with PLAYMEISTERS, and you know, I went along, played along with him, you know, and I found out what he was about. He was really nice. We ended up becoming friends, you know, and then, you know, Texter wanted to do something for the community, and I asked him, well, what were you thinking about doing? And he said, well, it would be great to do like a party night, a jam night in the local area, so we can pull in all the local artists, and, you know, get people to play with each other, people to network with each other and have a good time. So that's where PM Jam Nights came up. And I said to him, yeah, let's do it. So, you know, we started doing that, and it was pretty successful from the word go, and all these people were networking and meeting other people, you know, and it was getting really busy. And then I got really busy, so I had to stop doing that for a while, but I'm still very good friends with Texter and still do some things with him. And he's just taken it to another level, you know, with these PM Jam Nights that he does at Dorian's there on Washington Street, as well as him doing the bigger, larger events under Playmusician. And Al, I tell you what, there's some big things coming up with that. And it's all got to do with JC and the community, you know, and bringing people together and have, you know, have Jersey City as a force, as a creative, artistic force, whether it's, you know, whether it's for music or whether it's for art or whether it's for theatre. It's all about the community acting and being involved as one, you know, from a creative level, you know.
Absolutely.
Which I guess it's similar to what you're doing with you know, you're trying to you know, interview artists and bring artists together, you know, and that seems to be your main thing with the radio station, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me ask you this: when you decided to come to the United States, did you specifically key in on Jersey City, or did you find Jersey City, or did Jersey City find you? So did they draw you in from Australia?
Well, you know what? That's an interesting question now. My initial thing was, am I going to go to the west side, the west of the country, as in LA, or am I going to go to New York? So what I did about 12 months before I moved over, I came over here for 2 or 3 weeks just as a vacation, and I went to LA and I thought, oh yeah, not bad, you know. But when I stepped out in New York, I thought, wow, this is where I belong. You know, sometimes you just get a feel. This is where I belong. And I had a friend or two in Jersey City, in this area, you know, in this Grove Street area. And Jersey City was in my mind, but it was mainly Manhattan, New York. But then when I actually came into Jersey City to visit a couple of friends, and I saw what was going on, and, you know, it's much better now than what it was even 7 years ago. I thought, I like this vibe. I like this vibe. So, you know, as much as I do work in New York and Manhattan and Brooklyn and all those places, I thought, you know what? I want to live in Jersey City. So I guess in a sense, Jersey City did find me, you know, because I thought it's away from the mayhem, but there's still a lot going on.
And it's close.
Yeah, it's very close. And I liked just the energy here, and there was always something fresh. There's these artists, these painters who paint, and they have these open houses once a year, and all these local musicians. And I thought, this is good. I can do that, instead of being right in the middle of the rat race in NYC, because this felt more like a community, a closer knit community,
Exactly.
So yeah,
you're still connected to Manhattan because it's a 2-minute path train ride, right from Newport to right down to Manhattan there, and you're there 2 minutes. It's 2 stops.
That's exactly right. You can get into the middle of Manhattan, or you can even just a couple of minutes and you're in the World Trade Center down Battery Parkway. So for work-wise, doing work in NYC, it's a piece of cake to get to. But as far as so when Jersey City found me and I moved in here, I thought I'll give this a year in Jersey City and see how I feel about the whole area, and I just haven't left. I haven't left because I love this area. This area, this Grove Street area, I love, because I'm only on 2nd Street, a couple of blocks away anyway.
The youth of Jersey City and America need folks like yourself to teach them. They really do.
Well, I hope so, because I'm definitely a people's person. I love people. I get excited when other people get excited about, trying to find different things that they're interested in, or trying to find their interests and all the rest of it. I get excited. I think when you see people looking for to better themselves as people and to develop, I get excited about it, and I'll say, look, if you ever want any music lessons, or even if you just want to talk to me, here's my number, call me anytime. And, I like making friends. I think it's important that, people always talk to other people. I think it's difficult enough to find really good friends, and I think you just got to walk around with a smile on your face all the time with everyone,
Absolutely. Well, this has been a fabulous interview. I have to tell you, one of the I have 3 missions here, okay? And
yes.
If you allow me to tell you, I'll tell you what they are. The first mission is to continue to keep local music alive, okay? I hear all the scuttlebutt that local music is dead and blues is dead and this is dead and baloney. Okay, baloney.
No, it's not, Al. Everybody has their own take on it, but if you get involved, if people take the time to get involved and to open their eyes up a little bit, all of a sudden they'll see there's a lot going on here. Like you're saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's mission number 1. Mission, and we do that by showcasing and interacting and networking with local artists.
Yes.
And then try to bring them resources, okay, such as this.
Yes.
And show them how to work on Facebook and Twitter and bring everything together. So that's one thing. The second mission, which is just as important, if not more important than the first, is to make sure that and I'm not the advocate type, but what I want to do is I want to provide ammunition for advocates that are fighting this battle to defund public school music education. Public schools, the first thing that they go to save money is music and art, and which is stupid. Okay,
which is stupid because
Okay, so
it's such a major part of development, the art and music in any community, and why they always go for that department first never ceases to amaze me, Al.
Well, I'm not one for saying and complaining and whining and saying you can't do that. This is you can't. I'm kind of the person that says this is why you can't do that. And I
Yeah.
believe that with conversations like this, everything that we do gets archived. So everything is all shows are archived. They're saved.
Mm.
People can can listen to them over and over and over again. And I have a lot of footage, okay, audio footage
Yeah.
that basically showcases how important education is because, okay, where I'm going to give you an
Yes.
example. We have recordings of children that I've interviewed in Memphis, Tennessee, that have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old that played on the stage of Rum Boogie, like one of the premier blues bars in the country where basically B.B. King has played and Elvis
Yep.
Presley has played and countless people. And children that were involved with a program called Blues in the School. And
Yep.
I interviewed these children, okay? And these
Yeah.
were not the run-of-the-mill 11, 12, 13, or 14-year-old children. Their demeanor, their maturity level.
They're more
their
streetwise, I think, Al. Yeah.
Oh man, forget it. So rather than saying to folks, you can't take the money away, it's a mistake. Listen to these tapes, okay, and then you decide. So I have I want to give that footage to people that are trying to fight this battle. So instead of going
Yeah.
and yelling and screaming, you can't take this away, but this is why you can't take this away, okay? And then
Yeah.
I have a lot of the same kind of footage with young folks, teenagers, 19-year-olds, young people that are in college, and then I
Yeah.
talk to them, and they're also singer songwriters, and the conversation gets back to when was the first time you were exposed to music? They say 5 years old, 7 years
There
old.
you go. Yep.
Old, okay, and then you don't need to take my word for it. Just listen. Listen to how
Just listen.
Exactly. Listen to how these people are communicating. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to the cerebral capacity. Okay, at this
Yes.
young age. Okay, so you want to take away the engine that gave them this ability. What is wrong with
Exactly.
you? Okay.
Exactly. Because the thing is, all that stuff will also keep kids off the street because they won't get bored. They've got a purpose in life,
Exactly. And then one of the I was watching this documentary. I'm not a real big TV fan, but I do enjoy watching documentaries on television. Okay, and
yeah.
one of the documentaries I was watching was a fellow. I forget his name, but he was talking about training, okay, and schooling and education system. And the problem with the education system in this country, it's not preparing people to go out and work. It's not doing
Exactly.
it. It's teaching them stuff that they cannot use in their life, okay, which is stupid.
Yes.
That's another stupid thing. But one of the things that keep corporate executives, the CEOs of companies up at night, that is across the board, is the lack of creativity in their workforce. Okay?
That's right.
Okay. Music will solve that problem. A musical education in young children will solve that problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
It really is a big deal,
So what are we doing? What are we doing here? Taking the money away from these programs? It's stupid.
Well, that's
it
the
makes
thing.
No...
The people or the organizations that are taking away the money from these programs, really, they're not just taking one step back, just to stop and have a look at the outcome of all these communities and all these programs, what it actually offers to society as a whole. If they just took 5 minutes to have a look, they would change their tune out,
Yeah. So that's really that's the second mission. We don't have time to talk about the third mission because I have about a minute and a half left, and this episode is going to end. So
well, it's been a pleasure, Al. Thank you very much for it.
Give a plug for yourself now. I want to use that time for you So go ahead, give a plug for yourself, and then if you want to come back after I restart the next episode, I can give you another 10 minutes. But go ahead.
No, that's okay. I'll finish up here. All I want to say is, look, if anybody's interested in any lessons at any level, songwriting from any age, or you just want to make an inquiry, we've also got an introductory offer where you get your first lesson free if you're not sure, but you just want to come and check it out. Not a problem. I've got the website, but you can get everybody to go through Facebook, EG Lessons, which is short for Easy Guitar Lessons, because I make life easy for everybody. I try to anyway. So it's Facebook at EG Lessons, and you can contact me through there, subscribe. All the information is there, phone number, emails, everything.
That's great. And Chris, I'm going to contact you off the air in the next week or so because I want to run some other things by you. I want to work together with you on this, what we were talking about with children, okay?
Sounds great, Al.
Okay,
no
thank
problem.
you for your time. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I'll talk to you soon, okay? Thank you very much.
Okay.
Chris Theodore.